What's the difference between a drill and a driver? If you boil it down to the super basics, a drill is basically for drilling holes and a driver is basically for driving fasteners, like screws. So on a drill, you've got an adjustable chuck so that you can fit various size drill bits, like this one. Most cordless drills these days are a drill/driver. So you've got the option to drill, but you can also drive with these torque settings. Drivers are more specialized and typically they take hex drill bits. Driver's main job is basically to drive screws and fasteners. But if you have hex drilling bits, it can also drill a hole. It's just not super great at it. So obviously they can each drill and drive, but they're just more efficient at their specific task.
Aren't you the guy who tried to hurt me with the word goodbye? Though it took some time to survive you, I'm better on the other side.
I build a lot of furniture. One of my favorite things to build furniture with is plywood. Now, one of the biggest downsides to using plywood is this edge. It's not super pretty. So the easiest way that I found to cover up my plywood edges and make it look like a solid piece and look nice and clean is edge banding. So this is edge banding. It's glue on edge banding. It's a very thin piece of wood, and on one side it's got pre-applied glue, and on the other side it's like a solid wood veneer. So how do we apply this? Well, since it's already got glue on one side and the veneer on the other, basically all I have to do is melt the glue on to the piece of plywood. I use an iron. So I apply it across the whole piece of plywood and then break it off.
If you want your woodworking projects to have incredible strength, you want to go long grain to long grain. That's what this is here. If you're not going to rely on mechanical fasteners like nails and screws, you're just going to rely on the strength of the joint and glue, you have to do long grain to long grain like with this bridle joint. Now here's a bridle joint that I did earlier. I'm going to set it on its side here. I'm going to apply pressure to the ends. This thing is rock solid. It's not going anywhere because of long grain gluing. On the other hand, this is a miter joint. It's a common joint, but it's a weak joint. Let me show you what I mean. Now I'm going to apply pressure on the ends just like with the bridle joint. Check that out. See how quick it snapped? Now the reason why the miter joint failed is because of this here. It's called end grain. If you notice, there's lots of pores. They act just like straws and suck up glue and create a weak joint. A sharp pencil is essential to lay out, but a marking knife is better. Here's why. Now you're going to get a nice crisp line with a pencil, but you can't feel it. For carpentry, that's fine, but for woodworking, you need to feel it. Here's why it's important to feel the line. It gives your chisel a guide. Not only a visual guide, but it also provides a groove for the chisel to rest in.
This is why you should pre-drill a hole.
Check this out. I'm gonna show you how to get dents out of wood. We could sand this down, but that's a lot of work and it changes the dimensions of the wood. If we filled it in with putty, you'll see the putty. Let me show you a third option. Soak the dents in a little water, and then apply a little heat. No tricks, the dents are completely gone. Just don't try it on your kitchen table, it'll ruin the finish.
Did you know? An alternative to traditional wood filler, if you are trying to fill up or fill in a small crack or a void, is a sawdust and wood glue combination. Look around your shop and grab a pinch of matching sawdust that is the same type of wood that you're working with. In this case, I found some around my miter saw. So I'm gonna put it on this scrap piece of wood. Squirt some wood glue into the sawdust and make a fine putty. Then fill in the crack. Now, when it's finished, the coloring in the crack will match the coloring on the wood because we use the same type of wood, sawdust, to fill the hole.